The study looks at the implications of the new American AirSea Battle concept for Australia. In the context of America's rebalance towards the region, the Americans are now actively thinking about how to potentially fight, if need be, and win a war against China. And Australia, from an American point of view, is seen as a critical ally in this context. We have certainly an interest in making an active contribution to America's rebalance, but on the other hand, we also have to think through the potential implications for participating in AirSea Battle. After all, this is about a potential war against a major nuclear power. The study is basically organized in 4 major parts. The first part looks at what AirSea Battle actually is as far as we know it. The second major part looks at the question whether it is technically, financially feasible, and whether it actually makes strategic sense. The third part then looks at potential implications for America's allies and partners in the region, that is, partners in Northeast Asia and Southeast Asia in particular. And finally, the fourth part looks then in depth about what Australia's future role could and should be. The positives of AirSea Battle are that they can actually lead to a strengthening of US deterrence in Asia Pacific. That is, it signals to China and its allies that the United States is willing and able in the future to guarantee the security of its allies by, for example, deploying forces in areas which will increasingly be contested by China. You can think about a Taiwan Strait scenario. The study draws a number of major conclusions. The first one is that the United States will be able to technologically and financially pull off the project. However, there are some serious questions with regard to the strategic feasibility, that is the question of whether it makes strategic sense. AirSea Battle, while on the one hand being able to, or potentially being able to contribute to a more stable deterrence relationship between the United States and China, also carries the risk of serious nuclear escalation between the two powers. It is important to have a nuanced view of AirSea Battle. On the one hand, the study concludes that AirSea Battle can actually, under certain circumstances, make a significant positive contribution to a new deterrent framework between the United States and China. On the other hand, there are real questions regarding the potential nuclear escalation between the United States and China. And while AirSea Battle assumes that such an escalation could be avoided and be kept at the conventional level, the study concludes that there are actually quite some challenges to overcome. When it comes to allies and partners' views of AirSea Battle, the picture is mixed also. Allies such as Japan and Taiwan, because they're frontline states in a potential conflict with China, are, for obvious reasons, quite supportive of the concept. However, countries in Southeast Asia are much more ambivalent about the feasibility and also the strategic sense of AirSea Battle. When it comes to the potential implications of AirSea Battle for Australia, a major conclusion of the study is that we have no interest at this point of time to openly, officially sign up to the AirSea Battle concept. There might be areas where we could make an actual contribution to an AirSea Battle framework, for example, in providing military capabilities to maritime operations in Southeast Asia. However, we can do that without signing up to a concept which is still in its infant stages and which is also primarily designed for a future security environment which is only just beginning. In other words, we don't gain much at this point of time by openly signing up to the concept. The study ends with a number of practical policy recommendations. One is that we should engage our American ally in discussions behind closed doors about what AirSea Battle actually is and what our ally expects us to do. Secondly, we should encourage our ally to provide a declassified version for allies and partners so as to, in a sense, demystify the AirSea Battle concept and avoid the impression that this is all about preparing a war for China. We should make clear to our American ally that at this point of time we will not openly sign up to the concept. However, in the however unlikely war with China, and we all hope that this will never happen, we will certainly be able under certain circumstances to providing niche capability. Finally, the Australian Defence Force has an interest in maintaining a significant degree of interoperability, and that means on the practical working level the ADF should closely follow AirSea Battle developments in the US military force and think about the potential implications for ADF doctrine and force structure requirements.